What is happening, all YouTube warriors out there? Range Day Bro back at it again, and today I'm going to be talking about if I could only take one gun from my arsenal to Ukraine, which gun that would be. Let's get into it. Alright, so first things first, before we really get into the whole fun part of the video, which we're all here for, talking about the guns, there's a few things that I need to cover in order to just say my piece so you guys know where I stand. First point is, I do not condone violence. This is by no means condoning violence or encouraging war, encouraging violence. I do not want anyone to take it that way. I am a man of peace and love. I believe peace and love should be always the first two options. Now, obviously, in the case of Ukraine, peace and love are a little bit out the window at this point, and they are just fighting for their lives right now. So just wanted to start by saying I believe that you should never resort to violence unless violence is enacted and inflicted upon you. Yeah, really sad situation that's happening. Second point is, I do not know how I feel about this war personally. There's a lot of things that motivate war, like money, power, a lot of greed is involved. A lot of people get rich off of war. So when this war broke out, just like a lot of things that are kind of the mainstream narrative, I really wasn't sure how I felt about it. And to be honest with you, I still don't know how I feel about it to this day. Obviously, death, destruction, suffering, pain, innocent people being hurt is horrible and tragic. I'm not saying I don't know how I feel about that. I'm saying I don't know how I feel about the global elites and what is to be gained, what Russia has to gain, politicians have to gain, China. There's a lot of players here, and I just don't rush to a conclusion. I think there's a lot that the public is being left out of, and honestly, I just don't believe a lot of what the mainstream media tells you. So that brings me to my third point, which is I'm not actually going to Ukraine. I don't mean to mislead anybody with this video. I know there are plenty of Americans who've actually decided to go to Ukraine and take up arms and actually fight for the Ukrainian people. And I respect those people and their decisions. Those are free Americans. God bless them, and I wish them the best, and I wish that they stay safe over there. So now that that's out of the way, let's get in the part of the video that you guys are really here for. You guys only want one thing, and it's disgusting. Just kidding. It's awesome. It's guns. All right, so before we talk about the guns I would take, let's set up a scenario, right? Because this is kind of a thought experiment for us here at home in the U.S. Thankfully, we don't have an invading country invading on our soil, but we could use the Ukraine as an example. Let's set up the scene. You're a Ukrainian citizen, you're in your hometown, and you need to defend your town from the Russians. This is not an offensive operation. I'm looking at this from a citizen trying to defend their country perspective. So let's talk about the guns, guys. If I could only take one gun to the Ukraine war, it would be the AK, right? That's what you all expect me to say. Well, you're wrong. I would never. No, I'm just kidding. You're right. It would definitely be the AK for all the reasons. I mean, reason number one, ammo compatibility. Right here, 7.62 by 39 by the ammo crate. There's so much of that ammo floating around Soviet bloc countries. As we know, Ukraine used to be part of the Soviet Union. And so it would just make sense to take the AK because of the ammo compatibility, the parts interchangeability. If your bolt goes down in your AK, you could just swap it out with another AK bolt, and so on and so forth. Now, I know modern AKs are chambered in 5.45. However, the 7.62 by 39 will still do. Let's go over the specs real quick. This guy is completely bone stock besides a few upgrades here, which is just really the rail and the pistol grip here. Stock, brake, and flash hider up here with a 16-inch barrel from Arsenal. This has the SLR Rifle Works, beautiful M-LOK rail on here with their gas tube as well, which has their Picatinny rail along top. I have a Magpul sling loop on here because the OEM sling loop up here, that's where I like to have my grip. So I had to move and put that Magpul up on top so I can keep my grip where I like it. Circle 10 extended charging handle on here. And it's obviously the Arsenal milled receiver AK, as you could tell by this divot right here. On the other side, we have a Midwest Industries AK optic mount. This guy is really heavy duty and really beefy. As I mentioned, heavy duty. It's heavy as well. And then I just have a paracord wrap on my stock here. Tango down grip, which I had to Dremel in order to make this ambidextrous safety selector work. I really love that tango down grip. This guy is absolutely ready to go to war. Obviously, you throw a light on here and a suppressor if you have one, and you're good to go. We're going to talk about a little bit of the downfalls of the AK. So first of all, it's a heavy boy, and it is not as accurate. Now, I'm not going to sit here and trash the AK on its accuracy. It's a very accurate gun. It's a lot more accurate than people give it credit for, but it's not as accurate as the AR platform, as the 5.56 caliber is. Would I feel more comfortable going with this over some other caliber rifle? Absolutely, this would probably be the main choice. But if I just ended the video here, this would be really boring. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make the argument for taking an AR. In our defensive scenario where we're kind of shooting from heavily fortified positions, homes, and we've had time to set up and kind of have a defensive position, I don't know if I'm grabbing the AK every time. Let's make the argument for the AR. So here we have the HK MR556. This guy is also a little bit of a heavy boy because it runs a short stroke gas piston system. Plus it has an absolute bull of a barrel. So this guy with a 16.5-inch barrel, I would depend on my life with this a little bit more than I would with the AK for two reasons. Long range accuracy, I guess that's one reason, but anyways, you get the point. This thing is absolutely a tack driver. I was at the range recently sighting in this ACOG and this RMR that I have mounted up on top, and I was getting easily sub MOA groups just shooting off of a bag, not like a sandbag. I'm talking about off of my range bag. This thing is an absolute tack driver. I would depend on this for defending my life. Because we're running a thought experiment, really this is also to double as a thought experiment for defending the United States from a foreign invader if that ever were to occur. In that situation, obviously the AR would be the answer, and not specifically the MR556. This is a very expensive gun. It is a little bit heavier. I would go more for something like a BCM, a Noveske, or a Sons of Liberty Gunworks, something that's a little bit lighter weight and that's still going to give you great accuracy and great ballistic performance with a 16-inch barrel. I do think it's important to run a 16-inch barrel, but before I get back to the AR, let's go back to the AK and show you another option. So if you wanted to go for a CQB kind of defending inside your own home and inside a city, let's say, the Shorty might be a little bit better for you for CQC, inside close quarter battles, in and out of rooms and room clearing. This guy would be the answer. I love this little guy. This is the Arsenal SAM-7K 44 Genesis. This guy's badass. Some of the upgrades I have is SLR rail, linear comp, and then I have the Tango Down grip on here as well. Huge fan of the Tango Down grip. Got the JMac Customs arm bar on here with the Gearheads tail hook. So this is a pistol, and yes, it does fold. And so I'm a huge fan of this AK as well. So if I had to take one, it wouldn't be this because of the scenario we're talking about, shooting in fortified positions and all that. It would be the full-size 16-inch barrel, but this is another option here to go with an AK pistol. Still be able to easily defend your life with this, reach out to 200-300 yards. However, with the extended barrel length, you're gonna get more of a vibe check out of this guy for sure. So why would I make the argument for an AR versus the AK? Well, number one, I am a little bit more familiar with the controls of the AR, so that kind of is an unfair advantage that the AR has. It is a bit more ergonomic, but I also train with it more often. So the AK is at a disadvantage there because I don't train with it as much. But also, when you're talking about defending your country and defending it from an outside invasion, I think that range is going to be one of your best assets, especially when you're shooting from a fortified position. Both of these guys are a bit on the heavy side. If you're going to be running and gunning with it, you might want something a little bit shorter, like a 14.5. To give you more maneuverability and keep you more lightweight. I think it's a clear choice. If you're in Ukraine, you got to go with the AK just because of ammo and parts compatibility. It's going to be a lot easier to get ammo for this guy if you need to resupply versus the 5.56. But this is really a thought experiment to prepare ourselves, and I believe we need to take advantage of the situation in order to prepare ourselves. If this were ever to happen on American soil, we need to be ready. So are you guys doing what you need to be doing your parts, investing in these tools in order to defend yourselves, your freedom, your community, your state, and your country? At the end of the day, this is a unique advantage and opportunity we have to prepare. So let me know down in the comments what you guys think. If you'd be going to fight in the Ukraine, would you guys be taking the AR? Would you be taking the AK? I don't know. You guys let me know down in the comments. So thank you so much for stopping by the channel and watching to the end of the video. I really appreciate that. If it's your first time here, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you very much for doing so. If you're a return viewer, then thank you for your loyalty, you sexy YouTube warriors. And until next time, stay safe, stay dangerous. Range Day Bro, out.